All right, let's talk about the YouTube code. Your title, your description, and your tags. These are the three signals you're sending to the algorithm to tell it what your video's about. And if you get them right, you can rank higher, reach the right people, and get way more views. The problem is, most creators get the formula completely wrong. So today, we're gonna crack that code. So does this sound familiar? You spend hours, maybe even days, making a video you're really proud of. You pour everything into it, you hit that publish button, and then nothing. It is one of the most frustrating feelings for any creator. You know your stuff is good, so why does it feel like it's just getting lost in the noise?
Well, a lot of the time, the answer is hiding in plain sight, in your metadata. See, people are constantly putting information in the title that really belongs in the description, or they're stuffing the description with stuff that should be in the tags, and what happens is they end up sending really confusing mixed signals to YouTube, and that confusion can stop a channel's growth dead in its tracks.
Okay, so here's the game plan. First, we're going to tackle the most important signal you have, your title. Then, we'll unlock the seriously underrated power of the description. After that, I am going to reveal the surprising and very time-saving truth about tags. And finally, we'll zoom out and talk about the bigger picture and why good SEO is really only half the battle. First up, the title. Now, if you only take one thing away from this whole explainer, let it be this. Your title is, without a doubt, the single most important piece of metadata you have. It's the first thing a viewer sees, right next to your thumbnail, and it's what they use to decide in a split second if your video is worth their time. So here's the trick. A great title has to do two jobs at the same time. You're serving two masters. For the algorithm, yeah, you need relevant keywords so YouTube knows what your video is about, but for the human viewer, you need to grab their attention with clear and often emotional language. It's a real balancing act. The first rule for a great title is also the easiest one to follow. Just keep it short and simple. Look, we all know keywords are important, but that doesn't mean you should stuff your title until it's a jumbled mess. We live in an age of zero attention span. People are scrolling fast, and they just don't have time to decode a long, complicated title. A really good rule of thumb is to keep your title under 70 characters. Why that number? Well, it's pretty simple. Anything longer than that risks getting cut off with that little ... So if you've got this amazing killer hook at the end of your title, guess what? Most people are never even going to see it. And hey, if you want to take a lesson from the biggest YouTuber on the planet, just look at Mr. Beast. He often keeps his titles under 50 characters. And the psychology here is just brilliant. When you're scrolling through a feed, a shorter title means less work for your brain. It's what they call reducing cognitive load. The brain can process "I survived 50 hours in Antarctica" instantly, which makes clicking on it almost automatic. A longer title makes you pause and think, and in that 1 second, you can lose them. Okay, rule number 2 is to remember you're writing for people, not just for robots. And you know what drives people? Emotion. Weaving words into your title that create a little excitement, a sense of urgency, or even a little bit of fear, that can dramatically boost your clicks. I mean, think about it. 5 tips for more views is fine, but 5 tips for more views, instant results. Now that creates excitement. That makes you want to click. Now let's move on to the description. This is probably the most underrated and misused tool that creators have. So many people just think it's useless or they just aren't sure what to do with it. But trust me, it holds a ton of power for discovery if you know how to use it. And hey, you don't have to take my word for it. Let's look at what YouTube itself says. Right there inside the YouTube studio, it tells you, writing descriptions with keywords can help viewers find your videos more easily through search. That is a direct instruction from the source. The description is where you do the heavy lifting for your video's SEO. So how do you find the right keywords? It's actually pretty simple. Here's a 4-step method you can use. First, just search your main topic on YouTube. The suggestions that pop up, those are popular phrases people are actually searching for. Copy the ones that make sense. Now, for a pro move, try putting an underscore before a word in your search to find even more variations. Once you have a good list, just write a simple 1 or 2 paragraph summary of your video and naturally weave those keywords in. And here is the most important part of that whole process. YouTube specifically tells us to put our most important keywords right at the beginning of the description. So take your top 2 or 3 keyword phrases and make sure they are in the very first sentence. This gives the algorithm the strongest possible signal about what your video is about right from the get-go. All right, now for the big one, tags. So many creators, especially new ones, think that tags are the secret key to getting views. They spend hours and hours agonizing over them. Well, it is time to bust this myth once and for all.
So let's just ask the question directly. Are tags the secret weapon you've been searching for? Is this the missing piece of the puzzle that's going to unlock millions of views for your channel? The answer, again coming straight from YouTube, is a clear, resounding no. YouTube has officially stated that tags play a minimal role in video discovery. They even go on to say that your title, thumbnail, and description are much more important. So YouTube is basically telling us, hey, stop wasting your time on tags.
But, don't just take their word for it. Let's look at a super simple experiment that you could even try yourself. It's called the random string experiment. You just take a unique random string of letters and numbers that nobody would ever search for.
And the results are fascinating. When you put that random string into a video's description, you can find it in search. It gets discovered. But when you put that exact same string only in the tags section, nothing. It's invisible. It doesn't show up. This is definitive proof. The description is what gets indexed for search, not the tags.
So the takeaway here is crystal clear. If you're spending hours researching and adding hundreds of tags to your videos, you are wasting your time. That energy is so much better spent on making your title more compelling and designing a thumbnail that people just can't help but click. Okay, so now you know how to perfectly optimize your title and description. You're all set for success, right? Well, not exactly, because getting your video found is only half the battle. Let's be really clear about what SEO actually does. Its job is pretty simple. It helps YouTube's algorithm understand your video's topic so it can show it to the right audience. Think of it as the introduction. It gets your video a chance to be seen. That's it. Because what YouTube really cares about, what it actually ranks videos on, are performance metrics. The two big ones are click-through rate, which asks, when people see your video, do they actually click on it? And audience retention, which asks, okay, when they click, do they stick around and actually watch it? And this really paints the whole picture perfectly. Think of it like this. Great SEO opens the door and invites the perfect audience into the room. But it's the quality of your content, and only the quality of your content, that convinces them to stay. If people click and then leave right away, YouTube learns that your video isn't satisfying, and it will stop showing it to people no matter how perfect your keywords are. So this leaves us with one final and really the most important question. You can follow every single tip and trick to optimize all your metadata, but when that perfect viewer finally clicks, is your video actually good enough to make them watch?